tool they can use.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big thing as well. Here's the thing. This is kind of pivoting to another career, public service careers. Who answers the call? That's the whole thing. Definitely when someone's overdosing, unfortunately, who's answering that call? If somebody's having a mental health crisis, who's answering that call, right? Stranded. House catches on fire. Someone scared. Someone being assaulted. Who responds? It's public service. And I know this is a hot button topic, but really, think about it. Who are people we're talking about? Number one, policemen, firefighters, EMT, teachers, social workers, and community advocates. Here we are. And these are public service things, and these are and it matters. And it does matter. We were talking to a group of social workers a couple of weeks ago, and I commended them for everything. Because I know, on that side of it, I know the difficulties of it because I've worked, through ASO, I've worked, in that field. So I know that it's tough and it's sometimes unrecognized. Nobody wants to see you taking people's kids and things like that. And a lot of times it's not even that. Who's the voice for them? The voice for the voiceless. Who has those voices? Right. And that's the thing, people, don't want to look, they don't want to look at all, they just want to take, no, they don't. They want what's best for the kid. And with that being said, that's not always what's best for what you think the kid needs. Yeah. Right. And that's, so they're, being the professional in that way. I'm not saying you don't, and I think that's the thing when we talk about policemen, firemen, EMT, teachers, social workers, community advocates. I think a lot of times we focus a lot on the negative more than what the positive could be. And that's the thing, and this is not, I commend those who, choose, definitely this, the public service career. I do. Because there are some challenges to this. A lot of times it's burnout. Let's get it right. It's one of those things you can be burnt out on very easily. Mental health as well. Your mental health has to be on point. It does, or getting the help you need. And the long shifts that you have, boy, it can tear you down. It can tear you down. And public criticism, as we already said, is one thing. And there's always, I think in a lot of these, in any job, even if it was with college as well, there's sacrifice. You have to, we were talking about that earlier on another sense, on the relationship side with Christ, sacrifice. You're always going to be sacrificing, right? And it is one of those things, but what are you willing to? That's the whole thing. Are you willing to, right? And, that's what people have to understand. People don't. They don't understand the sacrifice that public service make. I do believe that. They don't understand
They
that.
don't. And, I think that's such an important point. Is I listened to the list of some of the public service fields you gave, and in comparison, there are some of the lower paid jobs oftentimes.
Right.
So that for me, that makes me respect people in this field and go in this field that much more because they're not doing it for financial gain. If chances are, these are bright, intelligent people. They know, that they could do something else, but they're doing it from the heart. They're doing it for fulfillment. They're doing it to service the community, to offer help. And, that's special on its own. And like you said, they're already underpaid. They definitely shouldn't be underappreciated.
And like I said, things are magnified more when there's a negative part to something. It's always magnified even more. And that's what we have to understand that, why it looks this way, not all is this way. Right. And that's the thing, it's not, are there some bad police officers? Yeah. Absolutely. There's some bad CPAs, some bad lawyers, some bad doctors, right? There's some bad, everybody, don't get me wrong. It's just one of the things that when it is this public service, because we talk about public, there's a lot of opinion with that. And that's the only thing. And that's, what we kind of find out, these things. But I commend them. for, definitely taking this route, because it's not, it's not the route that a lot of people would want to take. Let's get it right.
I think it's, and speaking of law enforcement, yeah, in general, I think like the more the discussion becomes, if you're going into this role, you're going in it to protect people. You're going in it to stand up for the person that maybe can't stand up for themselves. You're going in it to serve. I think if we can start that as the baseline idea of what that field's all about, and now we have the right people going into that field.
You were involved with it a couple weeks ago. Think about it. When we talk about public service, I mean, you're not alone. Initiative that they have, definitely for mental health and for recovery as well, but to do it out in the public. You were involved with it. Think about those, ran by the Raleigh County Sheriff Department, and commend them, because, I mean, it used to be that way before, maybe not with like, you're not alone like an event, but you used to see a lot of police officers, a lot of everybody, just all in the community. Yeah. Not when it was distress, right. When it was just there and they got to know, and it's, I think by doing that, it's gotten everybody together. And I think, hopefully, I like it. I don't know if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was during your weekend. It was, weekend of the graduation. So it was a little different.
Yeah.
When it came to that.
It was a great event. And, I think if nothing else, you brought together a lot of people from a wide array of backgrounds.
Right.
And, we were able just to communicate, and people, I think, left with a better understanding that, people are just people. He's this man, he's a policeman, but he's a person. He has his own struggles and highs and lows as everybody else. And I think the more we can have events like that bring people together and just have conversation, that will relieve a lot of the tension and the
right.
unwarranted ideas that we have.
And show that everybody's human.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the thing. I think, because I want to, break that barrier, right? Of, you don't know we're here. And it's not, we're here to give you a free handout. We're here to sit, talk, converse, fellowship.
Yep.
It's a lot of it. Communicate. Yeah. It's a lot of it as well. A lot of the, public service, that's what they do all the time. We just don't see it. Like I said, while you see a police officer doing something wrong to somebody, it's 100, they just don't show it. Right. It's 100 of them doing great things for people, helping people out. Not only them, social workers, like I said, there's a lot of different ones. Firemen, right? EMT, a lot of times, the EMT, think about it. They got a real job. I led with, who's responding to that overdose? Yeah. Who's doing that? Who you gonna call, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times that's happened over and over and over again. So it's something now. Teachers, I think we left them out before we move on. Teachers, I commend them. I really do. And I know we get, the people sometimes get the bit. People are gonna do that anyway, because people rather criticize than to say something good anyway. Not all, and I hope that's not the case. It's definitely not me. It's one of those things, let's talk about it. Community advocates, people out there in community helping, right? I think it's a great thing. And teachers have a hard job now, because to me, because like I said before, we're not always disciplined at home. Expect them, and then here it is. And then now I can't, because now you're mad, but we have to have order. Right. Even inside, our office now, you have to have order. Yeah. Or just gonna go all, haywire.
Yeah. And I think that you brought out a good point. We don't, a lot of times on the news, we don't hear about these positions until something bad has happened.
Right.
I think that's one thing I really like about these conversations that we do, that we have, because I feel like we have been able to and continue to point out the positives that some of these people bring to the community.
Love having guests.
And that can be talked about enough.
Love having guests. When the guests run out,
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
let's do what we do. Let's talk about some, hard, impactful issues, like I said, like career paths that
Right.
nobody talks about. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Because now, the graduation's gone and everything. Yeah, people going to college, but guess what? Sometimes college don't work. Then what?
Right.
Go back to the skills.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and going back to that, I think a major problem, I guess you could call it a problem, a major hurdle for me at that age is kids that don't necessarily know, maybe you're approaching the end of your high school days, or maybe you're in college already, but you don't really know what path you want to take as far as career. And looking back now through the lens of a 50-year-old man, I would definitely tell that junior, senior in high school, wherever they are, that you do have time, and even if college is your path, you still have time. I just recently completed my first semester of college. I wouldn't have had to declare a major that first semester. Everything you take is general. And I noticed, as I'm taking these classes, that certain subjects really pull out passion from me. So, the field presented itself for me.
Henceforth, getting to the last one. Technology, right?
Right.
Certificates.
Yes. Technology certificates.
Yes. So now we're getting into those. Think about it. It's the day and age, and that's when you said about career paths and switching, and this is what's happening because these jobs are growing. Technology jobs are growing. Let's get it right.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even require a 4-year degree as well.
Absolutely. And I think the big panic button people are pushing right now in tech sector as far as jobs are, AI replacing programmers, and eventually that may very well be the case. But if you read what the tech industry is saying, they are saying that very well may be the case, but looking at the big picture, AI is actually going to create a lot more tech jobs.
Right.
You're just going to have to be able to learn to use a different tool.
Right. And notice I said certification. What's that? Certificate. Sometimes people, I think, certificates are great. Some people just look at them, but this is what we need in order to continue to go, right? Especially when we talk about Google IT support, Security Plus, AWS, some of the things they talk about. This is some of the things, Microsoft, right? And some of the things we talk about, is it, are we moving fast enough to prepare these students for IT? Maybe not, but that's why I said, or per se, the older generation as well. So, it's like, a lot of times I think they're creating jobs. Like you said, with AI, is it going to take the place of job? Probably some, but not all.
Right.
Not all. And that's what I said, but being versed in it is a job itself.